How's everyone doing? Today I'll be reviewing Brightburn. And if you've seen Brightburn, definitely let me know what you think of it, and let me know who your favorite supervillain is. And when I first saw the trailer for Brightburn, I was like, oh, it's evil Superman. Okay. And that is essentially what it is, evil Superman. More precisely, evil Superboy. What surprised me about Brightburn was how dark, gory, and graphic it is. Brightburn is produced by James Gunn and is written by his brother Brian Gunn and his cousin Mark Gunn, and the film is directed by David Yarvesky. The movie is about a Kansas couple who is infertile, and they've been trying for a while unsuccessfully to have a child, and late one night they hear a noise and they run outside of their farmhouse and they look in the woods and they find that an alien spacecraft has crashed in the woods. And they go there and they find this human-looking baby in the spacecraft, and they decide to raise it as their own and tell people that he's adopted. And from there, it just shows the kid Brandon growing up and realizing that he's different and that he has these powers. And it all culminates when he turns 12 and this evil inside him is awakened. So the kid Brandon has super strength, invulnerability, he can fly, he can shoot laser beams out of his eyes. Sound familiar? And while he also dons a red cape, Brandon wears this creepy mask that is very unsettling, and you see him kind of going through the paces, and he's starting to make it clear that he is not a superhero. And little by little it unravels and it gets progressively worse as the movie goes on, and progressively more violent and graphic and gory and dark. Instead of trying to save and help the people of Earth, he wants to take the world. We're seeing a lot more genre blends in movies recently, and I really like the genre blend here with the superhero movie and then the horror movie. They blend so well. Brightburn is groundbreaking, and it flips the superhero genre on its head. Basically all of the nods to Superman are there, but there are also a lot of nods to certain horror movies that I noticed throughout Brightburn, including a scene that's reminiscent of Halloween with the clothes hanging, and even his name, Brandon Briers. It kind of reminds me of Michael Myers. And Brandon keeps drawing this kind of juvenile double B symbol, which is utilizing his B's in his name, his first and last name, Brandon and Briers. That symbol with the B kind of reminds me of the thorn symbol from Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers. Essentially, if it was like doubled, it would be like that. But as soon as I saw that, that's what I thought. And then there's a scene that is definitely reminiscent of Lucio Fulci's Zombie. You'll see what I mean if you watch the movie. And it also reminds me of the classic Twilight Zone episode, It's a Good Life. So it's pretty clear that it's influenced by a lot of superhero lore as well as a lot of horror lore. It also reminds me a lot of true crime serial killer documentaries with some of his crazy violent actions, and especially his creepy notebook where he's doing all the creepy drawings with his symbol over and over, and as well as him depicting some of the actions he wants to do to people and just all the violence in there, as well as some of the magazine clippings. Whoa, that was mind-blowing. When I saw that, I was like, serial killer right there. As well as how he stalks and manipulates people. Definitely has me thinking of the whole sociopath, psychopath, serial killer kind of thing going on there. They do an excellent job of presenting the conflict of the two parents when the father realizes that his son is a psychopath, and then the mother still desperately wants to hang on to that belief that her son is good. No matter how many times that it's thrown directly in her face that he's a violent and dangerous monster. Pretty much everyone in the movie realizes it except for her, and it kind of gives a we need to talk about Kevin meets Superman feel to it. And the parents are played by Elizabeth Banks, who is in the movie Slither, which is directed by James Gunn. And the father in Brightburn is played by David Denman, aka Roy from The Office. And both Elizabeth Banks and David Denman played in the Power Rangers movie together, and they were excellent in their roles here, and they have great cast chemistry. Their performances really brought an emotional complexity to the movie that elevates the film as a whole. The subtle nuances they bring to their performance and what they're going through really make them believable characters who you feel sorry for. The young child actor Jackson A. Dunn was excellent in this role. He was terrifying. And while everyone was great in their respective roles, he delivers the standout acting performance, and really the driving force of the movie. They did an amazing job with the sparse $6 million budget. It easily felt like a budget 4 times that amount. It is an R-rated movie, and it doesn't back down from that, and the majority of that rating stems from some of the violent actions and graphic kills. The gore effects here are top notch and much better than most horror movies. They don't shy away from anything here, it's right in your face. I think the fact that most superhero and comic book movies don't show you gore like that makes it especially jarring. I feel like it lulls you into a false sense of security with that superhero movie formula, and then he kills someone in a horrific manner and you're like, oh yeah, it's a horror movie. There's one scene that just made me cringe. For me, it was one of the cringiest scenes in any movie I've ever seen. Just thinking about it makes me want to vomit a little bit. And the gore effects here are on another level impressive. It's like you want to look away, but you can't. One scene in particular left my jaw hanging open. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's a very effective, excellent, and unique supervillain movie and origin story. And possibly an origin story to a budding franchise? Would you want to see a Brightburn sequel or sequels? There's an end-credit scene montage that hints at an expanded universe. So possibly more in this franchise. Sony doesn't really have too much of a superhero realm currently, so maybe this is something that they can do with a spin on that, kind of a darker one with super villains and lots of people with superpowers. Maybe they can introduce other characters later. It's very interesting what they did with that montage at the end. I do really like it as a standalone movie, but I am kind of curious to see more as well. Brightburn is intense, engaging, and often shocking, and I really appreciate that it doesn't cop out. It will captivate superhero fans as well as horror fans. My main criticism is that Brightburn is very straightforward and formulaic. It has all the superhero tropes and it has all the horror tropes, but it manages to get away with it with how unique and well done the movie is in every technical aspect. Even though we can see it coming, it's enthralling from start to finish and never lets go of the viewer's attention. Overall, I give Brightburn a 9 out of 10 stars, and if you've seen Brightburn, definitely let me know what you think of it, and let me know who your favorite super villain is. Leave me those comments down below, and I hope everybody's doing well. Take care.